I have some breaking news. A young girl's body has been recognized after it was discovered in a Tesla's trunk. According to police, a 15-year-old girl was discovered in parts in singer D4vd's vehicle's trunk. Officers claim that on September 8, days after the automobile was seized, the mutilated and decaying body of Celeste Rivas was found inside it when it was parked at a tow yard in Los Angeles. What if I told you that D4vd, the breakout rapper who made headlines for his epic romantic homicide that once had the entire world captivated, may also be the enigmatic mastermind behind the horrific murder of Celeste Rivas, his own girlfriend? Surprisingly, he wasn't the only one who did it. A vicious right-hand man was lurking in the shadows, yanking strings from the edges. After a shocking confession that came as a shock and revealed atrocities that left the entire precinct stunned, police have opened the case and learned more. There is a secret room deep in the basement that is marked with perplexing remnants of the horrifying, eerie security camera footage of inquisitive neighbors' frozen screams. The worst of all is a laptop loaded with terrifying secrets that gnaw at the soul, along with a store of hidden information. Every piece of evidence points directly at D4vd and his deranged accomplice, like a loaded gun. The pair who cold-bloodedly planned this barbaric act. This was not some grave error. Hollywood is being rocked to its sparkling core by this wicked murder song, which has a killer tune. What perverse motive drove the decline of D4vd? Is this a last-ditch effort to conceal a terrible truth? Or is there something more sinister brewing beneath the phony glare of the spotlight? And who was the quiet collaborator who helped create this network of lies? The ghost in the machine? The answers may cause you to lose faith in the celebrities you look up to. Are you ready to look down into the abyss? Come along on this unrelenting pursuit with us. An unadulterated quest for justice, for the defenseless person caught in the crossfire. The world was left in startled silence on September 8, 2025, when the mysterious death of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas, who had been missing since April 2024, came to light, sparking a flurry of discussion and fear. Her body was discovered in the trunk of a Tesla that had been abandoned and allowed to rust in a Hollywood parking lot. The car belonged to David Anthony Burke, better known by his stage moniker D4vd. The whirlwind mysteries surrounding Celeste's death kept the public on edge, muttering questions that tore at the boundaries of reason and demanding answers that would not come, even as authorities prepared to issue their official verdict. New witnesses and sharp hints emerged from the shadows, just when it appeared that the tragedy would fade into a vague aching of shared sadness, shutting the door on closure and drawing the police back into the conflict. Grainy neighbor security feeds that replayed frozen moments of terror, a hidden chamber beneath the basement floor, a bombshell, and a laptop filled with buried files, bloated with damning evidence that shattered every neat assumption the force had held onto. Then the unimaginable happened. Another murderer came out, a character that nobody had anticipated, someone who was so deeply ingrained in D4vd's and Celeste world that treachery pierced the darkness like a dagger. Her daughter has been missing for a long time, you know. She informed us that her daughter had a tattoo of the initials on her right index finger, and that she knew there was a boyfriend named David. The color of the tattoo ink was red, which was something the police had not made public. This ghostly accomplice is who? The ghost who became an assassin's ally? What poisonous intent drove their vicious hand? What atrocities lurked in those laptop files that were encrypted, just ready to leak out like blood from an open wound? Come along with us as we unravel a heart-stopping transition from a natural death to a brilliant murderous scheme, orchestrated by the one person you would never expect. Like a hurricane crashing over a brittle beach, the investigation sprang back to life. Every shaded page of the case file is being examined by detectives. The smallest details that might reveal everything, from the grimy evidence scraped off the scene, the broken whispers of witnesses, and the icy accuracy of autopsy reports. Strange ties between timelines and that abandoned Tesla, however, were interwoven throughout this nightmare. When driven against the unforgiving clock in that creepy abandoned ride, every notion breaks down at the core. Every lead to truth snaps like brittle bone. Consider the period between Celeste's disappearance in April 2024 and the heartbreaking finding of her body. A colossal 17 months had disappeared. All that time, where in the world had she been? A ghost in her own life's machine. Her death was estimated by forensic experts to have occurred about 1 or 2 weeks prior to the automobile being abandoned and left to rot on the road for at least 5 days. It produced chills that made people's spines tingle. Had Celeste fought her way out of the emptiness to give David one more look? Or had the disappearance been a spiteful slight? For those endless months, she remained alive and concealed in a claustrophobic corner, only to be abandoned at the end like yesterday's script and the automobile. Why was she abandoned on that abandoned stretch for days, with no theft reports rippling across the cables, for a rising celebrity like D4vd, who was wealthy and influential? Why not send a driver to take it home, or valet it at a high roller service, before the tow yard declared it the smoking gun of the century? Why did that Tesla squat there in mute vigil? Was it a willful drop in a lethal game, or the careless abandonment of a guy who might buy his way out of hell? Or was the ropes pulled by another shadow puppeteer? The suspicion was only heightened by the Dash's scrubbed GPS data. This wasn't a coincidence. It's a calculation error. 3 terrifying hypotheticals, each a fork in a path to catastrophe, were spun out by the police from these razor-edged pivots. The first hypothesis: the real Mark was played for a fool by David. Perhaps someone in his inner circle, or perhaps a complete stranger, took advantage of his trust, broke into the Tesla, and turned it into a murderous device. But when examined closely, that thread quickly unraveled. A thief at random. The LAPD log was blank. No desperate robber's call. A friend is borrowing wheels. The radio silence during all of the interviews, particularly after he canceled his tour to assist the probe, left this perspective gasping for breath due to the huge gaps in his account. Second hypothesis: it was David who fired the shot, the mic-wielding monster. It appears to be supported by surface scratches. The title bears his name. Like a curse, that matching tattoo was carved. Their romance's tangled knot. The lyrics are filled with venomous possessiveness. Motivated. In the back of my mind is the hook. You passed away. In a way, it builds to the significant moment when she passed away in the back of my mind, much like the narrative element of the lyrics that came before it. Even though I didn't physically kill her, she died in the back of my mind. However, when you zoomed in on the clock, everything gave way. 2 weeks before to the drop-off, Celeste worked out. Right in the middle of David's tour schedule. Videos and check-ins from coast to coast were captured by fans. Hotel folios, GPS tracks, and ticket stubs all scream neon and alibi. And why would he leave the body-hauling beast in the middle of a jungle of security cameras for 5 days, if he was the butcher? That's not a cover-up. This is giving prosecutors a gift-wrapped confession, which goes against the strategy of any murderer worth his hide. The third hypothesis: in the depths, David wasn't flying alone. What if a lurking phantom partner set up the scene and created that unbreakable alibi? The deleted GPS ghosts, the 17-month black holes in the missing persons file, and the Tesla's midnight dump to avoid inquisitive eyes. The faint buzz of a blood-drawn plan permeated everything. Crucial had the rock to bury Celeste's endgame secret with David, and this collaborator, the probe's dark horse, probably slithered from David's inner circle. Crucial understood his wheel patterns and laid out his tour beats. As a result, Hypothesis 3 was the only one still standing above the debris. The Tesla is a pawn in the chest of a predator, not a forgotten toy. Celeste's demise was the icy blossom of a plot rather than a cosmic accident. Precision petals unfolding. And David probably joined forces with someone to write this symphony of grief, rather than being a lone wolf howling at the moon. D4vd himself, hitched to the devil, who rode shotgun through every twist and turn of this masterpiece and wickedness, was the top suspect as the hunt shifted sharply from there, focusing on the closest ties to David and Celeste. Many people are inquiring as to why I promoted a song that I co-wrote with David in 2024 and 2025. The reason for this is because my 2023 claims were, put on hold. They seem to have vanished from existence. I didn't know. David and his legal team informed me they were untrue. I genuinely felt awful for disseminating false information after the entire incident. I believed it to be a hoax. Naturally, with all that has transpired over the last 24 hours, I've come to the realization that they are real, and some others have come out to me and confirmed that it is true. Why, therefore, did the police promptly name the bodyguard as an accomplice, and David as the primary suspect? A thorough examination of David's phone and those of his closest circle, including his personal assistant and iron-fisted bodyguard, revealed the first crack in the facade. One oddity stood out above the rest in a deluge of calls and texts. Every warning was triggered by the frenzied rhythm of the exchanges between David and that enigmatic bodyguard, who were the only ones who synchronized with a ghost number. The connection died when the police called it for a trace. The subscriber disappeared without a trace. No trace, no callback. A prepaid burner, the kind that flourishes in the underbelly of America, protects the phantom owner from the hounds. But what was it about David's gadget that chilled the detective's veins? Celeste's commitment as a lover was now twisted into a curse, and that number was marked Shag, a whisper that matched the identical tattoo seared into his skin. From the actual drop site, where the Tesla lay like a coffin on wheels, the next thread came loose. In the dead of night, a witness with sharp eyes claimed to have seen the bodyguard creeping through the surrounding shadows. The best part was that the man was photographed in sharp relief, frozen at the site, and time-stamped to the witching hour of the crime by a neighbor's security camera, which was positioned beside the car's grave like a quiet sentry. There's a sickening click as the puzzle parts grind together. David and his enforcer were not merely exchanging covert information. By tag-teaming the scene, they were transforming that abandoned ride into a guilt-ridden billboard. Then another bombshell came to life like a glitch in the Matrix. The task group discovered David's March 2025 TikTok, while searching social media feeds for digital footprints. I'm a sly BT bully who works as a side hustle cleaning people's shoes. A wink at the grind. It initially appeared to be simply another celebrity humor clip. However, it was visible when you zoomed in on the frame. Staring back are two kicks. It's obvious. Celeste has shown off same exact sneakers on her profile on April 30, 2023. Not a cosmic accident. The gun was smoking, evidence that she and David were closely intertwined. The mosaic sharpened even during those 17 phantom months. Celeste had not disappeared into thin air. Breathing the same tainted air as her captor, she had been hidden away. That death shot was still necessary for the brass. The evil pact between David and his muscle was cemented with the incontrovertible nail. They turned to Celeste's laptop, which was hidden away in her mother's house like a lost artifact. After being bogged down in the piles of dead ends, a hidden folder filled with films that were all timestamped to the eve of the endgame was found deep within it. The first file erupted on screen, sucking the oxygen out of the briefing room, and the room fell silent. What transpired changed the course of the entire fucking story. As it happened, Celeste had detected the impending storm. A candle glowing in the darkness was her sixth sense. Therefore, she secretly chronicled the nightmare, a covert account of those 17 oppressive months spent hidden in the basement pit. The first statement, a shaky confession. Her voice, a delicate thread, forsaking family for reckless, blind love. It was the worst decision I have ever made. After that, hours of torturous domesticity were depicted on the reels. A never-ending barrage of screams, tears that echoed off concrete like spirits in a bottle, and cramped routines that tore at the walls. Until they broke the conclusion, each footage pushed back another layer of decay, creeping closer to the abyss. No more tired routines, no more whispers. It was all ignited by this spark. August 24, 2025. Celeste's breath caught like an animal in a corner, filling the frame with genuine panic, but she defiantly steadied the lens and pushed it forward into the fray. Fresh out the door, David was standing with a small luggage at his feet, a portent, and the bodyguard's figure, which loomed in his wake, sliced through the darkness like a blade. Like dried tinder, the blowout ignited. With each heartbeat, Celeste's remarks grew more piercing, as she grilled him on the hazy boundaries with another girl. The little room trembled beneath the roar, as voices rose to a fever pitch. In an attempt to get the facts, she seized the phone from him and shoved him once and again, her frustration boiling over. The dam broke the moment her fingers closed around it. David's face turned red, a storm cloud of rage rising, his muscles coiling like a snake ready to strike. He stumbled back a beat and then lifted the luggage aloft. I've put this entire theory together, following every lead through the thorns of the timeline and cross-referencing facts and evidence like a man possessed. Do your eyes still contain water? Furthermore, who do you believe to be the true puppeteer behind this blood-soaked production?